Hello everyone, it's Linda. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, and welcome to day 3 of my 10 days of video tutorials, which is my Christmas gift to you this year. I am making Christmas cards today. Last night on my Facebook business page, I asked a little poll question. I wanted to know whether people preferred this card in the silver and the grey or this one in the crumb cake and red. It was actually this one that I put up, which has got the 3 trees on it. I've just recreated it so it's a little bit more closely to the other one. So they're almost identical. I've just used slightly different colors and a couple of different little things as well, different products like the twine, and the acetate piece here is different as well. So I'm going to show you both. The idea was whichever one got the most votes would be the winner, and I would show you that one. However, it seems like it was split right down the middle. 50% liked one and 50% liked the other. So I will show you the grey and also show you a couple of little tips about how I did the other as well. All right, we're starting today. I've got a piece of smoky slate that I've cut in half. It's an A4 sheet, or if you have letter, then you just cut that in half and then you fold it in half again to make your card base. Okay, and I've used a bone folder just to pop that like so. Then I'm using a piece of basic grey. So the colour behind here is basic grey. The two greys look fantastic together. I always like them, and I think it looks really, really good as well with a bit of sparkle, which is what the glimmer paper provides. But I'm using archival basic grey ink on a sponge just to sponge around my basic grey piece. I find I sponge nearly all my projects, and part of the reason I do that is because they just look so much more finished and polished if you give them a light sponging over the edge. So no, don't have to do this, but that's just something that I like to do as a personal preference. Okay, then the next thing I did was I added this little flourish here. Now this is not a Christmas stamp set, it's from the Falling Flowers stamp set, which is this one here, which is in our annual catalogue, and I'm using this flourish stamp here. I use this flourish quite a bit, and on this card I think it almost looks a little bit festive, like it's almost like a berry there on the end, and I didn't want it to be too dark or overwhelming, so I used Versamark, and I'm only inking up the part of the stamp that you're going to see, so I didn't worry about inking up the whole thing. I just want this bit, and I would like it to sort of pop out to the right hand side of my circle, so I'm just stamping it in that area. Don't worry about what's going on down here because that bit's going to be covered anyway. Okay, so I'm popping that there. Okay, then I'm going to use my acetate piece. Now this is the foil acetate that we have from our current annual catalogue. I love this stuff. I've already ordered a couple of packets of it, and I seem to use it a huge amount, and people are always surprised when they see it because it's much more beautiful in real life than it is in the catalogue. There's dots, there's scallops, and there's also these mosaic designs, and there's a couple of sheets of each, several sheets of each. It's silver on one side and gold on the other. Okay, so you can see I've used the gold side of the mosaic design on my crumb case piece, and I'm using the silver side on my grey piece. How do you attach it? That's the number one question I get asked about how to attach acetate. The answer is almost always glue dots. Glue dots are fabulous, these things, mini glue dots like these. And they are great because you can really kind of hide them behind the design on the acetate. It's harder if you're using clear acetate, but if you're using patterned acetate like this, you can hide your designs. Now the dots are the hardest ones to hide because the dots are smaller. These are much easier because you've got a little bit more, like where the patterns intersect, it's a bit busier and you've got more space to hide. You can't even see my glue dots there, but these ones are a little trickier. But if you put them right in the middle of a dot, it's not too bad. And also if you've got other things, other elements over the top, like here I've got these circles, so I put my dots down in this part here because I've got my other bits and pieces sitting on top of them, so you certainly can't see those. Push it onto the glue dot, take the whole thing off, and it comes with it. Okay, so down the bottom here I'm going to use that area that I know I'm going to be covering up with other elements. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to attach this. I've made it the same length as my base cardstock, and I'm putting it as like a little border along the end like that. And you know, it's not even stuck under there, but it doesn't matter because it's stuck at the top and the bottom, and that's all you need. And you can see it's coming together. All right, so now we're going to move on to adding the trim. On this card, I have used a piece of silver satin. Is it called silver or is it called grey? Yes, silver satin ribbon. And I've also need to cut a little piece of this little guy here. Okay, you can see this is another one that I started. To attach this, up to you. Snail is usually a really great way to attach ribbons, unless they're very heavy ribbons, in which case I might use fuse or tape. But I would just go ahead and I cut this with my ribbon scissors just slightly so it goes over the edge. I applied snail to the back and just pop that on there. Lay that across like that. All right. Then I added a piece of just like a stripe of slither of silver, just to layer that up a little bit. On the crumb cake one, I used the burlap ribbon. Now the burlap ribbon, this stuff here, I go through tons of this. I love the texture of this, and I just think it really adds something gorgeous to all your cards. It just looks fantastic. And if you're after texture on your cards, you can't go past this stuff. It's sort of, it's like hessian, but it's actually it is nicer. It's got a lovely look to it. Then over the top of that one, I added some of this natural trim with the gold. This comes in two colors. It comes with this one with the gold metallic stripe through the middle, and there's also one that's got a silver metallic stripe. So I have both of those and use them quite a bit. They're lovely, and you'll find they add a lovely bling to a lot of your cards. All right, so we're at this point now. We've got our silver slither on, and we have our ribbon underneath. Okay. So now we're up to the bit where we're going to put our trees on the circle. Here's the circle here. I've cut this with the stitch shape framelits. It's the second, not the largest one, the next one down. But you could use on here, this one here, it's smaller. You'll see it's quite a bit smaller. It almost looks like a moon, and that's the 2-inch punch, circle punch. Or you could use a 2.5-inch circle punch, which would be a little bigger again. That would work. Or you could use any of the layered circles, medium-sized ones. But I think these stitch framelits look lovely. Okay, I will show you how I cut my trees, which is really, I guess, what makes these a little bit different. Okay, this is the tree that we're using. It's from the Santa's Sleigh framelit set, and it's fantastic. I'll do this with the red ones. Instead of cutting the whole tree, which is way too large for this card, I just wanted little trees. So I cut my trees about yay big. So you can see I've just decided how big I want my tree to be, and then I've cut it like that. So the good thing about this means that you have a whole bunch of options with this tree. You can cut them to be all different shapes. Well, not shapes, but all different sizes. From little tiny cute trees with only a tiny little bit showing. See how cute. How cute are they? Aren't they gorgeous? I love them. Or I could even want little tiny weeny ones if I wanted. Here you go. You get the point anyway. It's an easy thing to do, but it means that it gives you a lot more versatility out of this framelit. And yes, of course, I'd make cards with the really big tree, but I just wanted to show you these because I think they're so cute. So that would be a Wincy Tinsy tree. You see him there? Isn't he cute? And that's the medium size. I've got four points on this one. This one I've got 5 points. So you can make them as big as you like or small. All right, so we have a grey tree and a silver tree cut from silver glimmer paper to attach them. Get myself organised here. To attach them, I find the easiest way is to use the edges of your dimensionals. So if you aren't already doing this, there are 100 dimensionals on a sheet, and there's 3 sheets in a pack, so you get lots. Around the edges, people get to the end, they finish them and they throw the rest away. Don't ever throw them away while you've got edges left, because that in itself is a really cool way to stick your bits and pieces. And these trees, see, these dimensionals are actually going to show. They're too big, and they will show when I put these trees on. So instead I just use a little strip from the edge and peel that off, and that tree is the right size. Like that. And I could either put this one on if I didn't want them both sitting up. I could have that one sitting flat, or I could have that one also, in fact I think I will in this case, but on this one I've got this tree sitting flat and this one up on dimensionals, and this time I've gone the other way. Okay, so you get the idea. And we'll put that on here. And I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this whole thing up. When in doubt, add dimensionals. I love dimensionals. I just think they look so much better than just having flat cards. Okay, there you go. Now the last thing that we're doing is we're adding a greeting, and I've just cut my a strip of, in this case, white for the other one. And you can see I popped both of those on dimensionals. For this one I used vanilla, and I sponged around the edge of it with my soft suede ink. This one I'm going to, once I've stamped it, I'm going to go around the edges in basic grey ink. So, oops. Okay, so I've got my Christmas wishes. Now you can use a banner punch if you want to pop these in the ends to do that, or just cut it the same amount of distance on each side. I cut in, and then I meet that with my, up to you how you do this, but I like a little banner. I think it looks nicer than just flat ends. Once again, it looks like you thought about. And I'm going to use that same sponge again, just to grunge up the ends of my banner. And I'm going to use, once again, edges from my dimensionals to attach that, because I want that sitting up as well. There we go. And you have yourself a card. Okay, so you can see how I did both. All right, so I've done exactly the same thing here with this one. That greeting banner is a little wider, so I'd say anything under ½ an inch is fine for the width of that. I hope you like them. This is today, day 3. I'll be back tomorrow with day 4, with something a little different, but I hope you enjoy these today, and I hope those of you who voted for one or the other aren't disappointed that that I made mostly the grey one, but hopefully I've showed both. Okay, have fun guys. Back soon. Bye bye.